Come one, come all. This is a short checkup. This is a checkpoint. You know, when you're on a mission in a video game and you get to a certain part that's so hard, but thank goodness for checkpoints that you don't have to go back and redo the whole game all over from level one. You get checkpoints. You get to take breaks. You get to dwell in hell with the Jezebel, you know? But don't babble in Babylon because you could be cursing yourself. You still have to have discipline when you're taking these breaks, right? Because when you save the game and then you go off and do something else, you come back to the game, your character still has all the weapons, all the, all the accolades, all the attachments that you could attach to the character, all the outfits that you got, all of the maps that you've opened. So the character didn't lose all the maps and the clothes and the weapons and the arsenal and everything like that, right? So when you start the game at your checkpoint, you know you're you're ready to go again to get to the next level, the next checkpoint, right? Because in light, there's levels to this shit. In darkness, there's only one level to that. And we all see it every day. It's 24 hours in a day. If you miss what you're supposed to do, time is fleeting. Each second is, fleeting away from you. So if it takes you a minute to do something, how are you going to cut that minute into 30 seconds so you can fit into that minute what you didn't get done previously? So now you got to cut time in half and you got to do two things in that same time span because you missed the day and you didn't save at that checkpoint. So now you lost 24 hours. You lost a whole level that took you 10 days to get done. You was throwing the controller everywhere. Good thing is PlayStation or Xbox, they make them strong controllers so you could throw it against whatever, and if you don't use all your might and force, it's not going to shatter into a million pieces, right? And even if you do shatter it, you know, you'll go to GameStop and then you'll get another controller and you'll continue. So you'll get that level complete and then you'll make sure and save it. Or since it's auto save now, it's automatically saved, right? And since we have this thing up here that they're using to create these PlayStations and Xboxes, we already know whatever goes up here is automatically saved. You might not know that it's automatically saved, and then you get to a point where, you hear a song or somebody says something, and then, oh, instantly it jots something in your mind that now you remember that it was automatically saved. Now you remember that, oh wow, I did remember what happened or what I said or what they said or what dream or anything like that. Right? So you're saying, okay, so I did remember because something happened that jotted your memory. So whatever was automatically saved that you let, like I said, seconds, minutes, hours, they're instantly fleeting, right? And the mind is constantly moving. And if you're around people, so is your mouth. So you're not allowing the brain time to upload all of that stuff so you can recollect and take into account all of the things that has happened in that level before you got to that plateau or to that checkpoint. So when you get to the checkpoint, and it automatically saves. It took you so long to get that level done. It took you so long to get here. So now you take a break. But when you go to Babylon, you don't act like you didn't take all that time to get to the level that you're at. You don't go into the lower levels and start acting like how the lower levels act. You carry yourself as a higher level, and they look at you as a higher level, and now they want to get to that level. Sometimes people think that they can automatically be on your level just because you're around. Some people think that they can automatically get to your level because, you know, they might think that they have it all figured out, but they didn't put that work in. They didn't put that time in. They didn't take them 24 hours and did what you did and spent that time getting to them levels so you can get to them checkpoints and you can get all that arsenal. You can get that gold member gun. You can get that gold member, you know, um, what is it called? There's an alarm going on. Oh yeah, I did set my alarm for that. My bad. Be back. Well, I'm still here. I'm just turning this alarm on. And we're back. And we're back. So, you don't go down to the lower levels and start acting like how the lower levels act. You don't carry yourself. A king doesn't step down from his throne and start acting like the people that he resides over and oversees, right? You might step down to go and see how, you know, production is coming along, how the people that you're reaching out to, how they're coming along. And yes, people can get to the levels, but they have to take them 24 hours, those years, all that time, and they have to put in the work and they have to put in the discipline. They have to show up, not for the level. They don't have to show they you can't show up just because and just expect, right? Just like how you can't just expect to get something just because you ask. You have to actually earn it. You don't get nothing just because you want it. Because when you get it, now it's gone. Easy come, easy go. That's why if you ask, when you asking and you're asking and you're begging and you're begging, my dad always told me no. But the minute I stopped asking, maybe a week or two later of not asking, just doing my work, doing what I'm supposed to do, taking care of my chores, then boom, surprise. And it doesn't click until it clicks. And it won't click until it clicks. But when it clicks, you'll know. You'll get that shiver. You'll get that wide-eyed moment. You'll get that jolly feeling. You'll get that butterflies for whatever. And then you'll try to put the butterflies to something else because you're still downplaying yourself a little bit. Like, it can't be that, or it can't be what I think it is. It has to be something greater. But no, it actually is that click. And then when that click happens, you start thinking different. You start feeling different. That's why I'm here, to make you feel. You don't feel no more. 2025 years of saying God, we forgot about Gaia, which is what everybody was saying before God. But then when something happened and something came along and studied something else and realized, oh, so that is who they worship as their God. And then something else happened which led to the Salem witch trials, which led to our women being tried as witches, and then which led to the same thing, re-engineering the things that the so-called witches were doing. They re-engineered it and called it medication and medicine. I mean, they keep the original organic for themselves, but they sell to the people something that they convince you is good. Or no, they don't convince you that it's good. They never convince you that it's good. They always convince you that you need it. They always convince you that it will help. They always convince you that it will treat. But they will never tell you or use the words cure. So when you get to the clicking, you start feeling different. You start seeing different, walking different, talking different, acting different, switching up, and that's okay. It's definitely okay to switch up. You can switch up any time you want. You are a free spirit, and spirit is free to do what spirit wants to do. That's why it's against the universal law to force, coerce, manipulate, or bind a spirit by force. That's why they convince you to want it, because they can't force you. So may the force be with you when I continue this podcast. We on Life Talks with Joe Sinatra. 1212, as I said that. And I definitely thought about it and made a wish. So let's continue on. A lot of people think that they can get to the level that you're on because they see how you do what you do. But then when they get to the doing what you're doing, it doesn't work because they haven't realized that they're not trying to do something that is them. They're trying to do something that they see, something that they are convincing themselves that they should want. And then when you convince yourself that you should want something that you don't already have, that's when your chemical becomes imbalanced. That's when your body becomes imbalanced chemically, and you start having to have metamorphoses, and a whole bunch of times you can have one metamorphosis for like 15 different times just because you want to go back and forth over the same thing, convincing yourself that you want something that you don't already have. You don't want something that you don't already have. You convince yourself that you want it because of what you see and what is being portrayed by, i.e., somebody that you look up to, or some programming that you channeled from the TV. Right? So a lot of people, they feel like they can get to the level that you're on just like that. But you know what it took for you to get to that checkpoint. You know what it took for you to go through all that missions, failing all those tests, failing all those missions, failing all those tasks, failing all those quests, and still continuing to go. And when you continue to go, you get to that level and you get to that checkpoint. And then when you get to that checkpoint, you jump out of your chair, you have an out-of-body experience. Just like when you have that mission complete on San Andreas, or you get that touchdown playing Madden, or you get that buzzer beater playing 2K, right? Or you slay that dragon playing Final Fantasy, right? Or you get that quest when you're playing Minecraft, or you unlock that specific tool or that specific thing that you need You get all excited. You start jumping around, running around, people looking at you like, what the hell you getting so excited for? You better be in your books like how you on that game. Yeah, you know. So when you in that books, like how you on that game, and the book being yourself, because like I said, you don't have to read an actual physical book to be reading, because everybody is a book. There's how much more? There's more than 9 billion people on the planet. That number is always going to go up, but they're never going to tell you what the number is, because they're constantly trying to bring that number down. That's why they're constantly trying to propagandize WAR. They constantly trying to propagandize FEAR. They constantly trying to propagandize FIGHTING against each other. So they're going to constantly try to propagandize all that stuff, because they don't want you to get to that level. They don't want you to be in that book. They don't want you to know that that number is going up, and that as that number goes up, the power of the structure of the Masonic buildings, the Masonic institutions, the power of that, the control, not the control, the manipulation, which gives you the false idea that it is control, or the false idea that you are being controlled, when you're not being controlled. You're being convinced. You're being convinced. The root word of convinced is con. That's the root of that word. That's why I tell you, the alphabet is not an alphabet. It's an actual language. And that's why I get to the description, right? I wrote in my description my little notes. I get drawn to the people that they don't want to be in that pain anymore. They don't want to suffer anymore. They don't want to continue down the wrong path anymore. So when they see how I carry myself, it influences them to want to be better. And, you know, for lack of better words, in my adolescence of the understanding of my power, I thought that something was being taken from me. But nobody can take anything from you that's you. Nobody can take anything from you that's yours. That's why you shouldn't want anything that you don't already have within you. So I don't get drawn to the people. The people get pulled in to my gravitational pull. Because when you become the sun, all things start being drawn to you like a magnet. You can't help but draw things to you, because you've become. You're not in your becoming. You've already became. So when you're at that plateau and you're standing on top of that mountain, you can see all the people at the bottom, and the people climbing up, and the people who've settled, and the people who are now settling, and the people who were settling and now decided to move on up. And I get those people drawn to me. The people that don't want to live in fear anymore. The ones that don't want to live in pain and suffering anymore, and just doing all the bullshit and going down the wrong path. being in that life that doesn't serve, being in that darkness that doesn't give you any room for growth. Like when you go to a job and they say, oh, it's a dead end job, there's no room for growth. It becomes a dark place. You begin to hate the place from hating the fact that you're putting yourself in that place, and you've been convinced that you have to be in that place in order to get to another place, and then you'll eventually want to leave that place. That's why the structure's crumbling, because the ones that hold it up, we've decided to let that motherfucker go. We decided to do the electric slide and let the foundation fall, because it doesn't work. It only convinces us that it works. I'm not reading anything. I don't like looking at the camera. I like looking into space so I can properly daydream without looking at the time and the numbers going, and a lot of stuff. I'm very aware, so a lot of stuff catches my attention. So I don't want to be, distracted. And plus, when I unfocus my eyes, I can focus on everything, because I'm not looking at one thing. I'm not looking at anything, but my eyes are open. Which is why my aunt used to tell my father that I'm looking through her, because when she used to yell at me, it would just be like, when you're lecturing me, I go into space, because I didn't understand when I was younger that was one of the powers that I had, going into space and being able to unfocus on one thing so I could focus on the all at one time. And when you're able to focus, it's going to take a little while to learn how to unfocus. Because you could be so focused, you can't see nothing else. You can't even see through your peripherals. And then you could be so unfocused that you can't even see what's right in front of you. Yeah. Everything has its pros and cons. Just like technology. Technology shouldn't be slaving the user. The user should be slaving these motherfucking things right here. That's why when you get on these things right here, look at my ear. It looks like a baby in the womb, right? And I have a headphone in the other side, right? So when I get on here, my womb is being impregnated with information. It's being impregnated with content. It's being impregnated with a whole bunch of worthless dross. So I have to discern, decipher, pick and choose what I want to have impregnate my womb space, my ear holes. Everywhere that you have a hole, I was thinking about this the other day, which is why I just said that. Everywhere you have a hole, you can be fucked. Through your nose, poison. Through your mouth, poison. Through your ear, poison. Through your butt, through your pee-pee hole, poison. Sexually transmitted diseases, spiritually transmitted diseases, environmentally transmitted diseases, biologically transmitted diseases. Yeah. Everywhere that you have a hole, you can be fucked. So that's why I draw those people in. Jupiter is my ruling planet, which is also the planet that protects Earth from asteroids and like comets, like comets that's the actual size of the planet Earth. Like if Jupiter wasn't stationed where Jupiter is stationed, asteroids bigger than Earth would have been crashed into Earth, and we wouldn't even be here right now talking about this. It would be a different reality. We might actually be looking at a physical dome over our heads instead of a translucent one. You ever get those moments where you're looking up in the sky and it's like a little piece of a rainbow, and it look like a circle rainbow that's just sitting there in a piece of a cloud? You don't think that that's like a glass being reflected or something like that? Like light being shined and reflected off of a prism? My imagination is extraordinary. And I promise you I've already thought about those things, and I've came to conclusions by doing a whole decades worth of research. Not just research, but corroborations and just seeing how it feels and seeing what happens and how things play out. And like I come on here and I tell y'all stuff all the time, but I'm on the internet, with the numbers and all that stuff. I look like a little guy. But even a little guy got a big mouth. And a big mouth got a lot to say. And it ain't no bullshit. I save the bullshit for my ass when I'm on the toilet. When I speak, it's with a purpose. When I walk, it's with a purpose. So I attract those people because they want purpose. So on purpose, I do life talks with Tro Sinatra. On purpose, I got thousands of videos. I told y'all I was gonna make 1,000 reels talking about love. I made over 1,000 reels talking about love. I got over 4,000 reels on my newest account. And they will not let me get past 500 supporters. For some reason, I don't know why, I haven't been able to get get I haven't even been able to get to 600. And I'm seeing people at thousands, like they just started and they got like 25,000, and it's like a new account. I'm like, you a new account? You got 100,000 followers already? Damn, good. That's good though. I'll get there. Just keep on putting in my work. Keep on my discipline. Keep on my checkpoints. Keep on my level ups. Keep on my gear. Keep on my ammo. Keep on my maps. Right? That's why I say I never want to go back, because I already know what back there is. I already got that map. So I know going forward, if I see that map starting to appear, I know not to go down that motherfucking road. I know to go down the one that I don't know. Uncertainty. That's the road that you go down. The road that's uncertain. But as you go down that uncertain road, it must be the road less traveled. It must be that road that leads to a better you. It must be that road, because if it's the road that everybody goes down and it's an uncertain road to you, but you see a whole bunch of motherfuckers go down that road, Don't go down that road. Go down another road. Find another. You will find another road because you found that one. You found that one. You'll find another one. Ain't no excuse. No excuses is what my father taught me. Because when I got in trouble, it was, but I didn't, and it was them, and it was her. But you the one that got it. It's you the one that's in trouble, not them. Don't tell me what they did. What did you do? Right? If you got a test coming up, and you know you got to pass that test so you can get that new game that's coming out, that's on you. You can't make no excuses and say, oh, but I didn't, oh, but this, oh, but that, oh, but nah. Nah, no excuses. There's none. There's no excuses. I don't even want to hear an excuse. I want to hear a solution. And then tell me why you had to have a solution. I want to know why you have to have solutions. I don't want to know your fucking excuses. I don't want to give you solutions. This is your life, not mine. You have to live this, right? So that right there, no excuses. That right there, that will get 99.9% of everyone on this planet to revert to the dark side. That's why I say it's not many of us. But just like Jay-Z said, I told him less is more, nigga. It's plenty of us. Life Talks with Tro Sinatra. I love y'all. Don't this shit make a nigga wanna jump? Jump, jump. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. For real. For real. For real. I was born and raised in Trinidad and Tobago, but I live in the United States since I was 11. Where I'm from, everywhere and nowhere.